Hi there, it's Janice Thompson here from JazzleDazzleCrafts.com. I'm an independent demonstrator working in Scotland. I've come on today, it's Holiday Monday here. I work for the government. I think it's just an English bank holiday, it's not a Scottish bank holiday, so don't panic if you think I've got lost with my days. But anyway, I'm on holiday today from work. It's a Monday, and you will be seeing this video on a Sunday, hopefully Sunday the 2nd of September, when you might be on a holiday weekend. I think that, I'm not quite sure if that's September weekend for some of Scotland, but the weekends all seem to get separated out in this part of the world. Anyway, on Saturday the 1st of September, which my brain's not good at this, but should be yesterday for you watching now anyway, for the people who are watching on the 1st of anyway, Saturday 1st of September, a really exciting day. We're calling it Celebrating Scotland Day, and what it is a group of Stampin' Up demonstrators have got together to organise a crafting and business day for other Stampin' Up demonstrators. So it's a day for demonstrators organised by demonstrators. It's the first one that's been done in Scotland in quite a long time, so we're hoping it's going to become a regular occurrence. But on that day I have kind of pushed myself out my comfort zone and taken on a job of presenting a make and take. So what happens at these events is someone will present a stamping technique, show some cards, and then everyone will get a pack of materials and they can go and make this similar cards using the same things. I'm expecting that a lot of the cards will look completely different to mine, and I'm fine with that. I'm hoping that the people that are there will just take my idea, use the technique and run with it, and they'll probably be even more creative than I've been. But what I've done is I've got 3 different cards here, and the reason for that is what I'm showing is very simple version of masking. That's the technique I'm doing today, is masking. I never told you that at the beginning. So a very simple card, a slightly stepped up card with some matte layering and a little bit of embellishment, and the masking done in a different way. And then here we have 2 types of masking on this. I'll show you this later in the video, and some so not more layers, but coloured layers, and some more embellishments. So what I'm going to do here in the video, it might be a long film, but I'm going to attempt to show you all 3 cards. So, and I have to try and do that without too much talking, because I want to keep the times. I'm kind of timing myself while I'm doing this, so hey, let's see what happens. So I'm just going to sit down. Enough of the preamble. You must get bored with all that, trying to justify why I'm doing what I'm doing. But anyway, I'm going to start off by doing the simple one. I'm actually keeping an eye on time as well when I'm doing this, just for my own information. I actually have a 15-minute slot on the day to do this, so that'll be interesting. Anyway, here we go. So what I've done here is I've used some post-it notes, and I've cut out several circles. I've used the largest circle in the layering section, the largest plain circle in the layering circle die set, and I've cut these all out. So what I get then is I get the actual circle, and I get the hole that the circle came out of, and these are sticky as well because I've made sure the die went onto the sticky part of the post-it note. So I can peel one off, pop it on. I've gone with the wrong card, haven't I? Here we go. Alright, here's the layer of card I had ready. Do apologise for that. And yes, I have got my inks ready. I'm not always that good at preparation. On the day though, I will have everything. I'll be nervous and I'll have checked everything 100 times. And if you're watching this and you were there yesterday watching me, then you can let me know how much my nerves came over or not. Right, so I got my mask on. I haven't told you about the stamp set that we're using. You might well already have predicted that I would be using a tree one. The theme of the day is growing as demonstrators and growing as people, growing teams and things. So growing in all its meanings. So anyway, for these cards I'm using the Rooted in Nature stamp set, and the first stamp I'm going to use on the first card is this one. Where's my sample card going? My memory's away altogether now. And then this sentiment, oh here it is here. The sentiment I used on that one was thinking of you. I'm just going to show you by doing this one that the You Are Wonderful sentiment will fit in here too. As you see, it'll fit in the circle too. So what I need to block up these. Let's get bigger blocks actually. There we go. I always like to have my stamp on a block that's slightly big, not too tight, and that makes sure it's nice and flat and you get proper coverage on it. And I've got some ink on this, so I'll just wipe that off with my microfiber cloth. So I will film this in 3 parts and then stick it together because my camera always cuts out after about 20 minutes, but I won't do all 3 cards in the 20 minutes now. But anyway, what I did was to do this card, I just took this lovely leaf branchy type, it's just all little leaves, and the Blackberry Bliss, ink on, and I'm just going to stamp all over this card. Now you have to press really quite firmly when you're over, and you need to overlap that. Now I did have a little trick. If you have stamped, rather than have to start again and not try to overstamp, this one didn't quite make it to the post-it note, so I'm actually just filling that in just a tiny bit. The other one's fine, but that one's not. And I'm just using a Stampin' Right marker in the same colour as my ink. And then just fill in the gaps. And all I tried to do was just get to press quite hard so that you're getting right in against your post-it note. Do you see what I mean? It is completely random. Keep turning your stamp around to get different direction. And make sure you're working on scrap paper. Fill in. I've got my Stampin' scrub at the side here because I'm a bit of a messy person, so I just fill in the gaps around the edge. I've noticed there's a gap here on the circle, which is, I want as many leaves around the edge of the circle as I can. So I'm going to turn this on its side like that, and then just make sure I'm pressing really hard to get in. There we go. Well, that didn't do, that wasn't far enough, was it? So keep an eye as you're going around, that, you know, so that you will get a distinct circle if you've got enough leaves around there. Maybe just... Right, I think that's plenty. So basically I'm just going to whip that off. That's that bit done. Take my sentiment. Make sure it's the right way up. And pop that in the circle. You are wonderful. And to give this a border, all I did was, now you need to be a bit careful with this because you could rip your ink pad, so just gently, don't pull it through, because if you pull it you will damage your ink pad. Ask me how I know that. When it's a felt ink pad, you can just pull your paper across, but with these foam ink pads, they're just a bit more delicate. So gentle tapping, and there we have a nice border, just very fine, finishes it off. And then just to make up this card, because this is the simplest card. Where did I put my card base for it? Were you watching? Because I'm not. Oh, we're going to be like this on the day. I'm just using a snail to layer it up because it's quite, it's very vanilla I've used. And there we go, and just make sure it's lined up and it's not straight. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Just be a bit careful as you're doing yours, just take your time. The problem is I would normally have my head right over. I don't think you really want to see my unkempt hair. It's probably a bit high in the card, but I'm just going to go with it today because there you go. There's the basic card. I've done it with the other sentiment. So that's those two. I'm going to stop the video and I'll restart in a second with the next card. Okay, here we are with card 2. And this one is where the stamping happens inside the hole that we made. Excuse me. And put that on the side here. So I'm going to use this time as the rest of that post-it note. You need quite big post-it notes for this. The sort of standard size are a bit small, but slightly bigger ones for doing this. So I'm going to put this, I'm going to put it, I want to have it sort of, let's see how much, I want it to be sort of in the, towards the top of the card, but in the middle across it, if you know what I mean. Just take me a moment to line it up. Now that, obviously, if I was stamping just like that, it would, this is actually beveling a wee bit, this post-it note, I don't know why. So the other way you can make your mask, you don't necessarily have to use the bit that's cut off the post-it. You can use a piece of copy paper, which I've got here, and I've cut the size of my card and I've cut the hole out with the die. You could use that as well. I don't know why the post-it note is doing that. It's just obviously not straight at the back. No, it's going to be a pain, so I'm not actually going to use it. I'm just going to pop this on. I'm just using the one before. You'd be better working with a nice flat one, but I'll hold that down there with a piece of washi tape. I just use up all my retired washi tape for this kind of job. I'm just going to take a big piece and just stick it across, and another one across the top. It's just to keep the ink off the rest of the card front. That's fine. I'm actually just going to piece it, maybe slightly squint. So I'm just going to stick a piece there because I think my berry vanilla is sticking out just ever so slightly. Then it just might be the way that this is cut. So I think that's fine. You just have to find your way to get yours nice and flat so that you can stamp. So I'm going to use some of the other stamps out of the set. First of all, I need to take these off. Look. Which I'm going to use this time these two leaves. I don't know if you can see that. These two leaves here. That one and that one. Okay, and I'm using the Mango Melody and the Blackberry Bliss again. It's coming out, so like the first card we just used one colour, this card we're using 2 colours, and then on the third card we use 3 colours. So it is, do you know, it's stepping up everything as we go. It's just to show that, you know, as you build your confidence in a technique, then you can start to make your cards a bit more complex. So for this one, I think I just want to have maybe one of these leaves wholly in the middle, and then I'm just going to work around it. So I'm using this one. Now we need to make sure that I'm going to be coming off the edge of the circle, and again pressing really hard to get that edge there. Okay, changing the direction of it, but making sure it overlaps the edge of the circle. Oh, that's not so good, but do you know what we can do is we can bring this leaf in and we'll just overlap that completely. No one will know. Except you guys. I guess you know I messed up. That one's fine. Oh, I mean, another wee bit of this one in, I think. Maybe in there. And kind of another wee leaf chip here. Just make it up, as I say, as you go along. Some you'll like more than others. You could put that one there. Don't know why I'm getting the edge of that stamp. That's not good. It's me, it's not the stamp. Because it's perfectly fine elsewhere. I'm obviously not leaning hard enough there. So I'm going to have this one. I think I'll have it go out that way so that it covers that little imperfection. That that doesn't actually cover it, but it detracts from it a little. And just another one of these on the edge here. Okay, so it's just a pile of leaves really. Let me just... wee bit extra. I just want the circle to look quite a definite circle when it goes round. Now obviously when you're taking your washi tape off, just do it very carefully, you don't want to damage the card underneath. Not so bad these ones because they're stuck to my masking paper. And I'm just going to reveal the stamping underneath. I'm rather pleased with that. There you go, move my mask out of the way. And then we want to put a sentiment on this one, and this one I will use the thinking of you because it's the opposite way around. There are other sentiments on here, but I quite like these two big thick ones. So I think there's room for thinking of you on here, is there? Yeah. So I need to that up, pop that on. Got a big hair. It's a grey hair. It's one of mine. So there, the thinking of you stamp. Just make sure it's on the card. Pressing down. There you go. Isn't that lovely? And then I'm going to close the inks because you know me, will end up covered. I really like that. I'm not going to edge this with the ink this time because we're going to use a piece of Blackberry Bliss to border this one. So yeah, here it is. So again, just going to use snail for the video. I do usually use wet glue. I don't know why I've decided to use snail today, just it was there to hand. It'll be wet glue on the day because, well actually no, the ladies bring in their own. Ladies are bringing their own with them so they can choose whether they use wet glue or snail or tear and tape. Again, just try and line it up. There we go, it's quite straight. I added some accent on this card with some sequins. There we go. And I'm going to use my new putty tool thing. See if it works. It's the first time I've used it. I've been using it. Oh, it's picked up too many here. So what we're going to stick them down with, we're going to stick them down with glue dots. Here they are. I couldn't find my glue dots. I don't know how this is going to... I've got too many here, so I was kind of hoping I'd be able to use my putty tool. Put the sequin onto the glue dot. No, that's not working, but anyway. Just had to use my fingers there. It will help me get a sequin out of the box though. They're too small, I want a bigger one. Maybe not. Let's have a look, see what ones I want. I want one of these copper ones. I've put a gold one on already. Wonder if I can get that to the glue dot. Right. It's not going to pull the glue dot off for me, however, do you know, fingers. I think what I'm doing here is showing you what not to do. black one, we'll pop the rest back in the tub for another day. Do you know what, I'm going to use the pokey tool side of it, get myself a glue dot and then put a sequin on the glue dot, I think. I'm going to put one about there. And then maybe we'll there we go. Sort of me and the putty tool did it together. I've not used it before, that end of it before, so I'm just learning. So this tool is in the autumn winter catalogue, which you can buy from this week. If you're not already a demonstrator, if you are already a demonstrator, you can buy it right now. It's not hugely expensive, but it's a very handy tool. It actually has, it's got pokey tool part to it. Unlock that bit. It's got a spatula, but again it would help you with picking up embellishments. There's another part here which gives you, and that's an expert putty tool. And there's also a ball tool for scoring and parchment work, pergamano. So an excellent tool. I love the idea that it's got the spare putty part. And the putty part is really good for picking up embellishments once you get the hang of it. Obviously, see, I've got to get the hang of it yet, but you know, things like that take time with me. So we'll pop the sequins out of the way, and there we have the second card done. So thanks for sticking with me so far, and if you just hang on, I'm going to do the third card. Okay, so here goes for card 3. So this one is slightly more stepped up with more masking. So for the masking this time, I am using some post-it note again. Sticky notes, maybe I shouldn't. I should be careful that I'm not advertising for another company. Let me see, I'm going to take 2, 3 maybe is plenty. Because this time I'm making one of my masks with a punch, and I'm going to offer the sticky side right in. I want the sticky, I want as much of the sticky on the circle as I can, but I cut more than one, because if you try to cut one piece of thin paper with one of these punches, you get in an awful mess. So if you're cutting something thin like post-it paper, do it that way, several layers. Okay, so then I peel one off. Don't attempt to do your masking with more than one. The beauty of this is that the paper is really thin, so it's easy to stamp over. So we've used the 2 1/4 inch punch here because the sentiment will fit in that space. The thinking of you sentiment will fit in that space. And just to show that, you know, you don't have to have die cutting equipment to make a perfect circle. A punch will do the job just the same. And again, this may not be exactly in the centre. I'm just having a look. I'm wondering if that one, it doesn't matter, that's what we're doing in this one. 2 1/4. So no matter if it's not exactly in the centre, but roughly. And again, I've got this thing, I want it higher up. It's just what I find pleasing to my eye, obviously what you think. This to me is just a good composition on this shape of card. But you know what, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Now, for this one, I'm going to use the other leaves out of this set. So I'm giving all the leaves in this set a whirl. And as you see, they're all quite different. So I am going to use the thinking of you sentiment, so keep that. Gosh, what a mess I'm in. So I want the 2 skeleton leaves, and I'm going to build up a similar-ish pattern to what we did before. But I'm going to be slightly different this time. I'm going to use the big one, and I'm going to actually use Yeah, I'm going to use the Mango Melody. This one could end up looking a bit like a sunflower, but I'm okay with that. So I've got that onto a pad. I'll put the little one. I'm going to use the little one in this, I think, maybe as well. In fact, excuse me while I change my mind. I'm going to use the little ones as the top layer. So what you do first, forgive me for not putting my phone on silence. Okay, so what you're doing is you're going to stamp the top layer first, and then after that you'll build it up. My words are not good today, so watch. We'll do it as we go. So I maybe put too much ink on there actually, so I'm going to stamp that off. Just to have a look. Yeah, maybe putting just a bit much ink on. It's just a bit more gentle, Janice. So I'm going to have most of the leaf coming out my circle. It needs to be partially on my circle. And I'm going to go around my circle at the same sort of level. Yeah. With the same leaf. Now if you use your Stamparatus, you know there's ways of doing this perfectly. Perfect's not really in my repertoire, so I'm just going around a circle. I'm actually putting maybe a few, I don't know if I'm putting more in this time than I did the last time or not. What I'm just noticing is how the Mango Melody lightens. I think it lightens as it dries. I think a lot of the colours do that. And then just one more in here. Okay, so what next I hear you ask. So what I'm going to do here is, on my post-it note, I'm going to stamp towards the top so that there will be some sticky on. Going to stamp my leaf twice so I can get on the top of this post-it note. Oops. I stamped it twice, but I've got 1, 2, 3 there. So if I cut those 2 leaves out, I will have loads of masks. So just bear with me while we cut these out. Won't take a minute. Just to let you see the whole process. So just, whoops, carefully cut the leaves out. And we're going to use these as masks as well. And this is how you can do this with any kind of stamp. This is how you get your first Stampin to stay to the front of your picture. I'll show you how that works. So we'll have to make some masks of the big one, but we'll do that when we need it as well. So I've got 3 there, and probably 3 here. Probably should. I think I've got about 7 leaves in the picture, but well, it's alright. I'll do one bit at a time. So, oops. Take my picture. I'm going to close my I'm getting a muddle here, so I'm going to close this, and then Try and get them off, of course. There we go. Doesn't want. Right, so then you have to decide, make sure you put the sticky side down, which, you know, that's always a good help. And you will see the shape of the leaf. One side is a bit fatter than the other. So basically you're covering your leaf up with your mask that you've cut out. And I'm having a job getting these apart. Why does this always happen when you're on a video? When I sit and do these things, I don't remember having any real problem. Well, I'm really pleased because I think I've got 4 layers, so that'll make this quicker. Get bits of post-it notes stuck to me here. Yeah, I have, so that's fine. So I'm going to cover all of these leaves up that I just stamped. That will make the next job easier. Yeah, that's just one there. Do make sure that it is just one though, because otherwise you'll have big gaps in your stamping that you don't want to have. Right, you 4. Oh yeah, I did do 8, well that's useful. I didn't actually. No, I didn't. I only did 3, didn't I? Picked up the other bundle. Janice. I'll use them. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the next layer. I think I'll actually do the next layer with the, what do I call it? Blackberry Bliss. Okay, so I'm inking it up. I'm looking to see which end of the leaf is which, and then I'm going to go in between. You are stamping off your picture, that's fine. You do have to press down really hard. Because it's got ink in between all these masks. That one's better, isn't it? And again, do this one. Then I'll have to, do you know what, I'm going to leave them there. I'm just going to quickly do a mask on several layers. Let's see how many layers we can do on this one. I think I might be able to fit the little one on here too. There's a big one. And we'll see if I can. I'll get the big one in this colour. I might be able to see it better when I'm cutting. I think I might be able to just fit it in there. I only need a couple. I'm going to take this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 deep and cut out the big leaf. Sorry, I'm concentrating a bit, so I'm not talking too much. But don't you love these colours together? The inks are fab. Have you got all the inks yet? Have you been adding an ink on to every order? That's how I got my colours together, so that I have them all now. I'm actually going to start next with replacing some of my older pads with the nice new ones. Okay, so that's me got 8 masks for my big leaf. Where did the little one disappear to? There it is. So I just need 2, so there's no point in cutting through that thick paper. I just need a couple of these. So just quickly. Obviously, I could have done all this before, but I actually thought, you know, just for you to see how quick the process is, even just making your masks as you go. You can do this with any stamp. I've done it with butterflies, with flowers. It's a great technique. Nice, easy technique, especially for new. Okay, so the camera cut out, probably because I had rabbled on too long, but that's me. So anyway, all I had done, you did see the bit where I took all the masks off, so that's the most exciting part of it. So then I've matte and layered it onto the Blackberry Bliss and then onto the Mango Melody card, the card base. Just my usual measurements, but I will put my measurements on my blog and the link to that will be below. I was just showing the gorgeous trinkets that I added a bow and one of the leaf trinkets. Of course I can't open it now. These are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So treat yourself to a wee box of these when you put your next order in. They're lovely. And the other embellishment I used was these gorgeous metallic sequins. There's not a picture of these in the catalogue. The picture is of the sort of light coloured sequins, but if you see just below it, you can get the metallics ones, and they come, I mean, they're just so beautiful. There's copper, gold, silver, black, and a sort of iridescent white one in there as well. And they're all in different sizes, so they're really handy and they stick on really easily with glue dots, so dead easy to use. And once you get the hang of your putty tool, which of course I showed you earlier as well. So I have used lots and bits and pieces in these cards, however, I think you'll agree it gives you a nice set of cards. So these are the new ones that we just did. They're on this film. So what do you think? Simple, slightly more, and even more. So thanks for watching. I hope you will try this masking technique. I hope you'll give it a go, and if you know, it might be something that you're familiar with, or it might be something that you've done before and haven't done in a while, so it might just re-inspire you to have another go. So I'd love to see what you do, so please share what you do with this technique. We'll be talking about possibilities of sunflowers or poinsettias or other kind of Christmas wreaths using some of these leaves. Okay, thanks for sticking with me. Please subscribe in the button below, and please comment and let me know what you think. It has been a long film, but thanks for sticking with me, and I'll see you soon.